Good morning. It's the Birth Besties. Pardon our voices. We're both kind of fighting a cold, which is kind of fitting because we spent the whole week talking about essential oils. So I guess today we're going to kind of briefly cover a little bit of our oil regimen and how it helps us with our colds, among other things that we talked about this week. But we hope you had a great weekend and fun picking out last minute Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
I know someone is doing that.
Well, just in case you're joining us for the first time ever, we are the Birth Besties, and I'm Michaela, and that's Crystal. And this is our Sunday morning coffee talk, and we usually like to hop on here Sunday mornings, literally straight out of bed, usually, just to have a casual conversation with you, answer any questions that you guys have, and just talk, because we are women. We like to talk.
Yeah, right. Just hang out with you.
Hang out and drink coffee.
And today I don't have coffee. I have hot tea because I have a sore throat. So.
Yeah, I should have done that, but I needed the coffee first.
I have my husband's Boston University cup today. So, and Michaela's got her cool M cup.
I do. My Kate Spade, thanks to my neighbor.
Oh, Kate Spade, that's a fancy coffee mug, I do say. All right, so let's just talk a little bit about using essential oils when you feel crummy. So we know that when we have a cold, the doctor's not going to give us anything. Or if you don't know that, now you know.
Yeah, you know.
A cold is viral, so they can't give you anything to kind of get you over the hump. What you can do is try to boost your immune system and basically give your body some tools to work in overdrive to make your misery less severe. Okay, and for you to get over it a little faster. So instead of a 7 or 5 day, maybe 3 day. So it's not going to cure you, but it will help you. So what I got up this morning.
Or, sorry to interrupt, but if someone around you has a cold, then you can also use them to boost your immune system so you don't even get there.
That's right, and I apparently didn't do a good job.
Right.
There's some little people around me who have gotten me sick, but so I was just going to show you this morning last night before I went to bed, I started having a sore throat. So I put on Breathe oil, and that's kind of like old school Vicks vapor rub, and it just helps open up your sinuses and helps you breathe, and it's comforting too, just the smell of that kind of respiratory support. And next I have what Michaela was talking about is On Guard, and that is the immune boosting blend, and it has clove. And so let's talk about clove. Everybody knows about antioxidants. All right, so what about clove? Clove is higher on the antioxidant scale than blueberries. So we know that we want that whenever we're feeling sick. And so that blend has it in there. So a great way to use it is diffuse it or put it on the bottom of your feet.
And I do both. So when I know that sickness is in the air and it's just kind of that season that the weather's changing and people are getting sick, they're back to school, I use On Guard all over the house. It smells good, in my opinion. And then I also put it on the bottom of all of our feet before we go to bed at night, and then when we wake up in the morning. That's
how you stay literally healthy. And I can tell this year I've been so busy that my oil regimen is not as on point as it usually is. And I feel like everybody's already got the sniffles, and where last year we weren't sick at all. Right. So got to stay on top of it. And the other things I like are the roller bottles, because you can apply to the bottom of your feet easier. So this is frankincense and melaleuca. So melaleuca is really good for the anti-everything, anti-viral things.
Viral, yeah.
I'm not even sure if I can say that on Facebook Live, but anyway, we're just going to go with it. Really good for you. And you can even add oils to your tea, like lemon, things like that.
But we want to make sure that you know not every oil is created equal.
Thank you, Kyla.
When you go to Walmart or to the drugstore or Amazon even,
right?
Not every oil is going to be a certified therapeutic grade oil that you can, in fact, ingest. You want to make sure that the oils that you are using are 100% oils and not a bunch of other stuff. So
I want to
unfortunately,
know where they're coming from. That's
yeah,
kind of
exactly.
the keys to the kingdom, in a sense that,
Right.
if frankincense a very hard oil to, it's a resin, it's very hard to extract. So the process is very long. So that oil should be expensive. I mean, to be honest,
Right.
frankincense should be around $100 for a bottle. And I know you're probably like, what? I just had a heart attack. But you only use a couple of drops, and it's very powerful, and it's very beneficial to your body. If you go to Walmart or any other store and their frankincense is $20, you are not getting frankincense. You are getting something that smells like frankincense.
Okay, so I have a confession, and Crystal, you already know this, but for the longest time when Crystal got into oils, I was like, yep, that sounds great. Yep, I'm gonna try that.
Just
And
gonna smile and nod.
Yep, smile and nod. And I never did. And then when I would get sick, I'm like, Crystal, what do I do? And she'd be like, well, I wish you had some oils on hand. And so what did I do? I ran out to the natural grocery store and I bought oils. And I would always be like, no, I don't know what she's talking about because these are not helping me. They're not doing anything. I'm doing what she says. They're not working. Right. And then finally, about a year ago, it took me that long, people.
I know. So I've been doing it 5.5 years. So it took 4.
and it took me 4 years to get on board. And I finally got on board with quality oils and spending the money for them. And this last year, my family and I have been so much more healthy. And I still had the bottles of my generic, oils from the natural store. And then I had my other oils, and I would smell them, and there is a distinct difference in the smell. And the oils I got from the store very much smelled like alcohol or something. Sometimes I couldn't even put my finger on it. I don't know what it was. Yeah. But yeah. So from my experience and my learning process and my scoffing it for a very long time, I came out and finally figured out that what Crystal was saying was in fact truth. Sorry, Crystal.
It is. But, some people just aren't ready, and it does seem a little hokey pocusy, and that's too much for some. People call them snake oils. I am here to say, with a public health background and all that they aren't going to replace modern medicine. But doctor's visits are expensive for just, your sore throat and your cold that you pretty much know you got from, the store or from school or something like that. And you just want to feel better. So you go to your store and you stand in that over-the-counter med section going, well, do I need Theraflu or do I need Dayquil? And so all that can kind of be replaced with something that's a little more effective and less side effects, because some of that stuff can make you really sleepy.
Yeah, absolutely.
So feel better without the side effects. So if you want to know more about these oils, these magic oils that we love and we use every day, then you can just message us, comment below. We're happy to share. And again, these are just our experiences, and there is some science to back it up. So
there's a lot of science to back it up, but I'm definitely a word of mouth kind of girl. And I, value my friends' opinions and true, getting feedback from real people and not just what I read on.
We can all read something online, but I think the value comes from, like you said, you saw me use them for a very long time, and it still took you a while, but that's what matters, and as people who use them religiously and get results and then go around and talk about them, because essential oil users, who we are, because we kind of can't keep our mouths closed.
Right. So on a different note, but still with essential oils, this week we had posted about the smell, cleaning products and the smell in the air when you are using cleaning products and so on and so forth. And I, again, resisted for a very long time because I just wanted to walk in my house and smell that it was so clean. But I didn't know that I was smelling toxins, that I was smelling chemicals. That's essentially what that is. And I would even go as far as buying some of the more natural products that I thought were going to be less toxic on my family.
Right.
Only to find out that they're just, that those companies are really great at marketing.
Yeah, you have to be really careful. There are some plant-based products you can buy off the shelf, but some of them are just labeled that way. You really have to look at the back and be like, do a little investigating. But yeah.
The problem is when I looked at the back, I didn't know what to look for.
Right. It's hard.
So, that made a big difference when I educated myself, and through you and through reading and other people, when I finally educated myself on what to look for, then I started realizing it's the same with food labels.
Right.
Everything is marketed to you in a certain way that makes you confused a little bit, and you don't know, what's truth and what's not. So I would say essentially, if you can understand and read what the product is, it would be okay to use, just like it is on the back of a food label. If there's a bunch of words that you don't get,
you have to Google every word. You're 3 words in and you're using your phone in the aisle. It's probably not worth it.
Right. So funny story. This past week, I was having quite a week, and I was ready to just.
It was not a good week.
I was ready to just throw in the towel. And I came home from running some errands, only to find that my dog, sorry guys if this grosses you out, but my dog had either vomited or had diarrhea all over my bed. And that's how bad it was, that I couldn't tell the difference.
No, that's a bad day.
That was a bad day. So I kind of panicked, but I was like, okay, I got to clean this up and figure it out. And took everything outside, hosed it off, and put it in my laundry. And I was like, oh gosh, how do I really get my sheets clean to the point that I feel comfortable sleeping on them again?
Yeah.
So I used On Guard laundry detergent.
Yeah.
And I used Purify oil.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think my sheets have ever smelled so clean or so clean. And so it worked. It really worked.
Yeah. It's pretty great once you embrace it and you start. I know it's the one thing I think people, it's overwhelming and they're like, oh, I don't know how to use them. But the more you do it, the easier it comes. And, there's books and things to help you. And then there's phone a friend and you ask. Yeah. So
exactly. Oh, and by the way, my husband will attest that Purify essential oil helps get that sweaty, smelly sock smell out. And
yeah, we just talked about that. Like, there's some yoga pants. I have some leggings that are like my jam. I love them. They're called my leggings, and they're made by Cabby Clothing, which my friend is a stylist for. They're amazing. But there's something about that fabric that holds on to a smell. And it's not even like guys, I'm not wearing like super stinky pants, but sometimes you're like, maybe they got left in the washer once, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And they kind of have this little lingering smell, even though I've washed them in hot water. I've, soaked them. I've washed them again and again and again. And then you just add Purify and all of a sudden that goes away.
It goes away.
Like 2 drops, 2 or 3 drops to a huge washer.
Yeah, my little bottle that I've had has lasted, well over 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a family of 5. We do a lot of laundry.
Yeah, I know. Laundry is, I feel like, the only thing I do.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more about essential oils in pregnancy and in labor. So as we know, when you're pregnant, your sense of smell can be heightened, and there's some that you may love, and there's others that you just may want to stay away from. Yeah,
exactly. So we had Jessica say something on one of our Facebook posts about for like the calming effects of oils in labor, for anxiety and some of that. And lavender, I posted a study about lavender oil, and she said, I hate the smell of lavender. I can't do it. Is there anything else? So there's lots of options. Frankincense is really, we've talked about frankincense. It's one of those kind of pricey oils, but it's a resin. It is incredible for grounding feelings and reducing anxiety.
Yeah.
And it carries over into that postpartum period, because for healing of tissue and things that may have had some issues during birth, absolutely incredible. You can make a postpartum spray with some essential oils, and I think that your care provider will be floored at how fast and how things look, because even mine was. So there's lots of different options. There's oils like Balance that are specifically blended for a blend of oils for anxiety. And then Michaela has some that she really likes too.
Peace is another one. It's a roller bottle, and Peace is one that I keep on hand. I keep it in my purse all the time, because there's just moments as being a mom and, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's that just still, I mean, my youngest is 6, and I still, especially during certain times of the month, have that imbalance in my hormones that just give me that anxiety. And so Peace oil is something that I rub on my wrists, and it smells good. So I kind of use it as like a perfume. And it definitely helps bring those emotions and anxieties and frustrations down. And, one thing, if you're pregnant, you're not in this phase of life, but I have a teenage son. And as we know that, as kids go into the teenage years and they're hitting puberty and making those transitions into
crazy. It's
more adulthood. My son sleeps with, he puts Balance oil in his diffuser every single night. And it really, once we started doing that, wow, the difference in his attitude and his behavior, and yes, he still gets frustrated. Yes, he still, can lash out, but that balance has grounded him. And I would not be saying this if I didn't see it for myself. Like, it truly surprised me.
Well, and I think it sounds like sometimes whenever I'm speaking these words and I'm like, other people are like, you're insane. You're telling me that like a little oil has made this big difference, but until you experience it, you just don't know. And it's really, so the thing with oils is, a little bit more often. So you're not going to like use tons of it because it's a great product. You really only use a little bit and you space it out and you just kind of use it more often. It's also a proactive approach instead of reactive. That's what makes, natural medicine different, is that instead of waiting until we're in this complete meltdown and then trying to use it, yes, it can help maybe stop and not stop, but diminish a meltdown, but you really want to be proactive, like he's being.
Yeah, that reminds me of a story back when I don't even know how old I was. I was young, and I had all sorts of ear, nose, and throat problems from being a preemie baby. And we were flying, every time we would fly, which was a lot, I would get sick. From the minute we took off because of the pressure change in my ears to the minute we would land, I would start vomiting, and it was terrible. And we were flying from California to Hong Kong, actually. And I even, like, the flight attendants moved us up to first class, which was, good on my part. We got moved up.
Yeah.
But as soon as we landed, they had to escort me in a wheelchair off the plane. And they took me to the doctor in the airport in Hong Kong. And I don't know still to this day what he put on me, but it was oils. And he put these oils on me, and no kidding, within 30 minutes to an hour, I remember telling my mom, okay, I feel good now, let's go shopping. and then I wanted to eat all this great food, and she was like, let's take it easy. Let's just go back to the hotel room and relax for a little bit. We've got a couple days. And I was like, no, I feel great after I had been throwing up for 15 hours straight.
Oh my God.
And again, no idea what he did. And I think I called it like voodoo for.
Yeah. Because you don't know, but you're like floored at the results. I know.
Yeah, exactly.
If we could just get those two, like Eastern and Western, to just meet in the middle and stop being so anti each other, it would be a beautiful thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really think so.
But in labor, so again, going back, we've kind of gotten off, all over the place this morning. But in labor, I have seen, and Crystal has seen firsthand, how oils can help mom through transition.
Yeah.
When they hit that nausea and shaking and, the transitional phase.
Right.
And peppermint oil was my go-to as a doula. So I didn't put it on mom because, again, 1 minute the smell was great and the next minute get it as far away from her as possible. So a little cotton ball with a drop of essential oil and just, it fills the room. It's
right. It's strong. You just need a drop on a cotton ball, 2 drops, and that everyone can smell it. So you also have to kind of let your care providers know how you're wanting to manage your labor and your symptoms and things, because this is one of those conversations that you're going to have.
Yeah. Definitely helped in pregnancy and in labor. So what are some of your favorite oils, Crystal, for pregnancy?
So frankincense for healing and during pregnancy, just to help with anxiety and things like that. Peppermint for nausea. When I was pregnant with the twins, I threw up a lot. And I also use Digestin, which smells a bit like licorice. It kind of has a bit of a smell. But if you rub that on your tummy, it is the most amazing thing for just helping get rid of that I'm gonna throw up. That feeling of just like, oh, it's coming, but then it doesn't.
Right. Or even those, the acid reflux, like the, the uncomfortableness of the fullness of pregnancy.
Right. The gas under your ribs, like that, just full. It helps that. And then, so I loved making a postpartum spray, and I also made it and put it in those pads I called them padsicles.
Yeah.
And I swear it sounds silly, but frozen with essential oils is magic after you give birth. And that was mostly healing oils like helichrysum, lavender, frankincense. And then I added witch hazel, and I feel like I'm missing one. But anyway, I loved all those. So.
What would you use for the postpartum anxiety or even depression? Like, I know that if you are suffering from that, definitely talk to your provider. But on top of whatever you and your provider come up with as a plan, you can use essential oils to help manage some of those feelings as well.
Yeah. So there's lots. The Console and Peace Oil that you mentioned, those are roller bottles. They're emotional blends. There's also Forgive. There's frankincense. There's Balance. Everybody's different, and everybody's body chemistry is different. So just as you and I would react differently to over-the-counter meds, one oil may not be your jam, but it's mine. It's like works really great for me, but it kind of works for you. So there's this trial and error of, let me try this and see what happens. And the biggest, risk for a quality EO essential oil is like a skin sensitivity.
Right. That's my go-to is to put them on the bottom of my feet or the bottom of my kids' feet. And again, that's another reason why I love the roller bottles like you, Crystal, because they're already diluted.
Yep.
And so it takes that thinking process out of it.
Yeah, so the roller bottles, I have a couple here. So they're already diluted with fractionated coconut oil. So the price is going to be a little bit cheaper. And then because you're getting less oil and some carrier oil, as we call it, but it makes the ease of application. You just roll it on and move on. You don't have to try to dilute it for your kids, or honestly, taking these types of bottles and trying to dump them on your feet is kind of hard. So.
Yeah. or on your kids' feet when they're moving around.
Yeah, forget it. Just get rid of them. So, I've used them so long that I used to have to make my own roller bottles because they didn't make them for you to buy. So that's how long.
Yeah. So, all right, just to recap a little bit, you guys, we've talked a lot about essential oils. In case you couldn't tell, we are huge proponents of essential oils. Know everything there is to know about the essential oil that you're choosing. If you have any questions about it, please message us or comment below with the word oils, and we will be sure to get you some quality information and research-based information.
Right. And if there's enough interest, Mikhail and I are happy to teach a class, like a little virtual class like this, where we hop on for about 30 minutes and you can get on with us and answer some questions. So
exactly. So you can use essential oils in pregnancy, you can use them in labor, and you can also use them postpartum. You can use them for cleaning. They have some great properties, cleaning properties. Lemon essential oil is another one. Before I had a good, good set of oils, I started out with a few, and lemon was one of them, and I would use that to clean with some water. And then you got that nice, fresh, clean scent that you're looking for after you spend hours cleaning your house.
Right.
And so cleaning, they help reduce the air, the toxins in your air quality.
Yeah, they act. On Guard is just like Lysol, but even better, because On Guard is good at cleaning the air. So
yeah, exactly. So 3 ways you can use them is topically, diffuse them, and ingest. But again, if you're going to ingest oils, please, 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 please make sure that they are quality grade oils.
Right.
So that's what we wanted to cover this morning. And if you have any questions, we're the Birth Besties, and we would love to answer them.
Yep. Have a good week.
Happy Sunday.
Bye.
Bye. I can never figure out how to stop the live. All right. Bye, guys.